Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer, is here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Ross is here. Look at that. Ross. Oh.
I'll try to watch my mouth radio.
Yeah.
No, don't. No. Let it all hang out. Ross is here to promote the now rescheduled Mo Comedy Jam. And, man, it's coming up fast. It's now.
Stupid hurricane.
I
Yeah.
know.
Shut us down last Thursday. We're back at, it's just called Mo Comedy Jam at Tuffy's Music Box and Lounge this Thursday, October 6th. $10 ticket. And that's a donation to Yellow Brick Road Foundation. You guys know they do good work.
Yep.
Yes.
And it's the same lineup as the previous show. So, you know, if you want to come see Jolly, if you wanted to come see me or Ross or Sabrina or Ryan from The Monsters, everybody's going to be there. It's the same lineup this Thursday, the 6th.
No storm. Now.
MoComedyJam.com.
Yeah, now with that storm.
Yeah, now with
my
some
modem.
nicer weather.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
My buttons are all off.
I was in Sanford on Saturday at our Airbnb to take a shower because we still didn't have power.
Oh, I like that. He asked the people that were staying there. He's like, "Can you guys step out for a second while me and my boys? Did you guys take a family shower?
No,
You should have all taken a family shower.
I took a cold shower at our house because I was
Because you were
still
too
clean-
horny and driving your
Nah.
wife crazy. This guy's got the hurricane hornies.
That does not work, by the way.
No, I know.
Cold shower does not.
It makes
make
me
any-
hornier.
Yeah, it's worse.
Yeah, it makes me hornier, and I think I get more out of it because like it makes my muscles taut,
Right?
and then I feel like I'm more handsome.
Well, the adrenaline of the cold shower, you're like, "Ah!"
if only I had something to bang.
Doesn't the cold water make it retreat?
No
That's
retreat.
your testicles.
No retreat.
Um,
Stand by. Stand.
Now,
Proper.
If you're soaking in it,
Okay.
yes. If you're in a
I was
body,
in a pool,
if you're in a
yeah.
body,
Palm olive.
but
You're
like
soaking
just
in it.
splashed over you, it brings all the blood to the forefront.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was anyway. It was nice in Sanford. I walked over to the arcade bar across the street,
And he
from-
doesn't wear a shirt anymore. He's like Liver King. He's wearing tiny shorts and he's walking around with his do-rag on.
And
I like it.
Anyway, so it's this Thursday now.
Correct.
So Ross, how'd you fare during the storm? We didn't talk to you since then.
Dude, we got our street this summer we got a new roof.
Yeah.
We got new windows. We got new doors. I barely even heard the damn thing.
No,
No, don't say that.
Did
though.
you did you
I know
lose
me.
power?
Like people are like, "How'd you fare?" And I'm like, "Oh, we're okay." And I just leave it
I
at
went
that.
to sleep about 9.
I
I
got
woke up in the morning. I was good. Yeah,
I got nothing. And, man,
You didn't
new
lose
windows-
power?
We lost power briefly, like just a couple like 4-hour spans.
Okay.
We're on the public circuit, so we get back real quick.
I just got it back yesterday afternoon.
Oh, you got your
so-
power back.
Yeah.
Congratulations, buddy.
So that, and I think all of Seminole, they text out that all of Seminole should have been back by midnight last night.
But we
or
don't
whatever.
know. I like that. I like.
But-
we think it's bad.
I did figure out, it seems like we've got the perfect way to get through having no power, and I'll put it out there. And I know everybody can't, do this.
Giant
because,
gerbil wheel for your kids.
No, well,
I think right now, while we're getting back into like sort of shape, right? Like you clean up and you do the thing. Some people could take some of the things, some of the experiences that you offer, and you could save your money and buy like a $350 generator or something. Like you could prepare and save your money and and be better next storm because there
Right.
will be a next storm.
Or,
Absolutely.
just create your own Airbnb, and
Yeah.
then when your power goes out, you
Yeah,
just go
Yeah, I
over
was gonna
there.
say
That
it is
wasn't-
nice to zip by there.
and the only
Kick their tenants out. Get out of here.
Well, the only reason we went there is I had to check on my boat in Sanford
How's it
because
doing?
we drove by and I
Boat
looked at
drive-by?
Well, it's behind a
How's
fence.
Oasis? Is it
So-
hopping?
Oh my God, Super Dave's out there.
The river is high, and I think it's only getting higher. But
Is it higher than Ross right now?
well, you know how the floating docks basically it gives play so that the docks like are normally on a slope, like
Yes.
at least the ramps going down the docks, and then they can rise and like
It's
anyway,
got some give.
They float.
the ramps were straight parallel
Okay.
where normally they are at a 45-degree
Oh,
angle
wow.
down, and it
You're
looked
walking uphill.
like it looked scary in the fact that so many people live on St. John's. Like,
Were there people out on the water?
It didn't look like it. No, it looked like
Because they've been telling people not to be out
Yeah,
on the water yet.
But
you shouldn't
But
go.
people
On
are.
the,
People in Florida do not like to be told to not do
No.
anything.
That's because the big failure that happened in our city was, I don't know if you guys have heard this, a 36-inch force main sewer pipe broke.
really?
Yeah, you guys are not aware of this?
Is that
No.
the one on Asbury, my old street?
I don't know
Because
about
my
that.
old house, I don't know if you remember that house. I don't think that house is inhabited. I think the house that I sold to move to my current house is gone. or screwed up gone, not like blown down. I'm just saying.
If you're on
Underwater.
south headed to downtown and you hit Mills, you
Yeah.
know where that Masonic Lodge is right there?
Yes.
Right across the street from that is pump station number 1. That's where all of
Oh,
downtown.
wait a minute. I thought my butt was pump station number 1.
So yeah,
I
Daniel.
was
told
going to
me
let that one burn for a little while longer.
Sorry.
But that's pump station number 1. 1, 2, and 3 all basically got, I don't know how to put it in radio terms. They got whoop-de-doo.
decimated.
hard.
Yeah.
And
I
36
like
inch pipe broke.
whoop-de-doo with the finger in the circle.
Yeah.
Whoop-de-doo. I'm going to start doing that
You could have
more.
just said F.
I like whoop-de-doo
I don't know what
They
to
got
say.
screwed.
Whoop-de-doo.
You're like, I don't know how to say it on radio, so I'm gonna do a hand gesture.
I like
Give a
that.
whoop to do.
I
said
like
whoop-de-doo.
that. It's
Thank you,
completely safe when you do it that way.
But that's why, like, so all that's a lot of that's going into the lakes and stuff now too. You know, it's not getting into your drinking water. Your drinking water's all fine
Yeah.
and dandy out of the
Oh,
tap.
so they say.
But your lake water is bone. Don't get into it right now.
Yeah,
And,
Brendan showed. You didn't see that Brendan showed from Bungalow. He showed this video, and it's a white, like an off-white cream pump station, and you can see it pumping, and then just doo-doo waves are coming over the top. Doo-doo.
I think what that's called like a clarifying pond,
Oh,
and it's like a
God.
big like man-made tub, like the size of this neighborhood basically.
Yeah.
And
So
they
shake out the turds.
they pump all the raw waste out in there, and they let the
Yeah.
hard stuff settle to the bottom, and then they skim the water off the top. This one,
Yeah.
like Dan was saying, was like when the toilet starts backing up and coming over the side.
Yeah.
When it starts rolling over the side,
gross.
but
And it's
like
that light brown.
gallons of it,
Yeah.
and then the
It's-
ground
yeah.
is just covered.
it's
with
light
crap.
brown,
wow.
like light brown doo-doo.
Oh man.
And so, like, I was on the way here, and right now, like, at that Target on the corner there, they must have a lift station in that Target because there was a line of, I'm going to say, a dozen of those big septic pump trucks all lined up and at this like fenced off area in the parking lot, and just like one of them had like a little proboscis in the tank, and they must be just sucking tank after it, and
Yeah.
God only knows where they're taking
Why
it.
does doo-doo make me laugh still so hard? Like if I see a pump station and there's doo-doo flying out of it, I'm like, ah!
Dude, the fact that the big septic company in town is called Brownies.
Yeah,
That's that in and
Well,
of itself.
Sam found another one that I think is out in where'd you
I think
find
it was Ocala. Someone said it was chugga chugga doo doo.
Chugga chugga poo poo.
Oh, was it poo poo?
Right.
Yeah, chugga chugga poo
Chugga
poo.
chugga poo
Well-
poo.
We're trying to get them to advertise.
It's something that we don't have to deal with a lot in a first world country
Yeah.
where we've got
We're
our doo-doo
spoiled.
handled pretty well. But then when you see
We got a lock on it.
how if the infrastructure's not there,
Yeah.
Yep.
like then like
Or even not working right.
I saw that Bill Gates documentary about him, like trying to make the
Gates wants to make doo-doo better.
well, trying to help these countries that don't have like,
help your doo-doo.
sanitation, and because they have doo-doo everywhere.
Yeah.
Like it is like you're
Yeah.
like, oh
They
man,
don't have their thumb on their doo-doo like we do.
they're
apparently.
there's like just doo-doo
Yeah.
in the streets
It's just
on
random.
like and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, here's a
wild. It's wild doo-doo.
just piles of
It's
doo-doo.
like we have
It's like,
wild flowers
oh,
here. We
man.
have wild animals, right? Like they have wild doo-doo. It's just like we have domesticated doo-doo.
Dude, any river in India, go dip
Yeah,
a toe in
yeah,
it and
yeah,
watch your toe
it's
fall
real
off.
bad.
Yeah.
So-
you don't want to see what the Indian bungalower reports on. It is disgusting.
So back to no
Horrifying.
power, and I was actually having a conversation with my neighbor about this today because he didn't have our setup, and this took me a decade to learn through different storms.
Got a nice setup over there, Van.
Because we've had where no generator, where we're just sitting there listening to our freezer drip onto the floor as it defrosts, and then we're like, don't open it too long, like you're letting the cold out. And then losing all our food and having to punt everything. Then we went to generator, running extension cords through the house,
Okay.
like at least powering the refrigerator
Yeah.
and maybe a fan.
But
or
the
whatever.
ones where you have the cord laying through doors and through windows.
Yeah. And then so now how we did it is we got an electrician to basically make a plug on the side of our house that goes to our main power box, right? And then so what
So
you
now
do,
you can direct your power.
and then we have a regular generator, like we've got a 6,000 watt, which they make bigger ones, but I think that's like you
That's
should
pretty
get
big.
around at least a 6,000 watt, 5,000, something like that.
Every generator I've ever owned is underpowered.
so
So that leads me to believe that most people probably don't buy the right ones.
and
You know what I mean?
I mean, they make. I feel like the people that go on they panic and get the full house Generac thing that will power their central AC and
Yeah.
all that. Like that's
My
it's
mom had
$25,000.
that and she never used it.
But it's
She
too
bought
expensive.
it and died before she. It is.
Yeah.
It's overkill. Like I'm not saying it's not. If you have the money and you can do it and you're young, whatever, do it. But I'm just saying,
Or
She spent all
old.
this money.
It's
to-
old people
yeah,
that get this.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
because peace of mind, I
Right.
guess. But she
Also,
never
you-
used it. There was never a need.
Well, I understand old people because you can't get your generator out from your garage.
True,
It's
that's
heavy.
true,
I
that's
mean,
true.
Yeah.
it's on wheels, but you
It's
are
heavy
walking.
as hell, dude.
Yeah, it is awkward getting it out there
Well,
anyway.
let's be honest. Normally, you're pulling it through mud grass, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
when it gets bogged down, and then that front bracket always gets in the mud, and then you can't lift it up
But
because you're weak, like me.
so if you get the electrician to make a power cord on the side of your house, you get a generator like 5,000-6,000 watts. You plug that in, then you go to your power box. You have to leave your main
Yeah.
central AC off the whole time because it
Yeah.
won't power.
You
that.
just pick the insulary stuff, right?
But just do lights in the living room, your internet router, right? Your fans, and then if you get a portable AC, a window unit for one of your bedroom, just so you could sleep in.
Yeah.
And then you have that power the
Are you
sleeping
using
room.
all of your?
I borrowed Ross's AC the last hurricane, I think it was Irma, and that's where we realized is if you just cool one bedroom for y'all to the rest of your house could be hot, and during the day you're moving around.
There are a lot
but-
of Floridians that do that without a storm,
Yeah.
where they just cool one room because they're cheap.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
called Florida living. Like I know, I grew up with all those guys.
Those rusty window units.
Yeah, my dad was almost one of those guys.
That
you
was
know,
my house.
sometimes depending on what he was pulling home.
And so honestly, if you got your refrigerator powered so you don't lose all your food, and then a one AC unit in the bedroom so you could sleep, and then your TV and your internet router, it's not that bad.
No.
You're like, okay, this is not miserable.
And let me also point out that this is coming from a man who likes to scream, "It's time!" Like he's
Yeah.
real quick on telling you that when things are really bad, and you're actually giving this one a check mark.
And then we ran that generator
How did it do?
Basically, it was fine. I changed the oil on it and stuff.
Great.
It was
Now, what you're supposed to do, right, is when you're done, aren't you supposed to let it run itself out,
well not
and then you put your stabilizer in?
Well, you turn the gas off and then let it run out
Let
of
it
gas,
run out.
which all the gas gets out of the carburetor. That's what you need because that's
Correct.
what gets gunked up. And then the all the fuel in the actual tank. Put some stabilizer
And
in
then
there,
you're good.
and then you put it away. Dude, I didn't touch mine for 2 years. That's why I was freaked out that it wasn't going to start.
Worked out
And it
good.
started back up. And I think it was the stabilizer.
He
and
got
then,
so drunk that he said he forgot to put stabilizer, but then got so drunk that he remembered that he had to put stabilizer.
well,
Right? Like,
it
did you
turned
like, I
on.
think
so
I did do it. And
I have
yes,
no
he did.
recollection of doing it,
Oh,
but
you
since
did.
it turned on, I was
Okay.
like, I must have done
I
it.
would say that you did it because of anything that you've ever told me of anything that I've ever had that's like that type of engine. You're like, make sure you put stabilizer in it. So it would make sense that would be the one thing you would get right.
But so it seems like that is the equation to it's not miserable is having a cool place to
Which
sleep.
room? Which room is the best?
Well, we use my wife or Crystal's got a mini split in the office, so we powered a mini split, and then that cooled our bedroom.
I mean,
So
I guess
our
if you
office
really
bedroom.
wanted to be fancy, you could take your air conditioning and move it around, right? Like depending on what room you wanted, or
Yeah. I mean,
did you use all of your power? Were you like at maximum load?
I don't know. That's the thing. That I don't really know exactly how much it can handle, but the generator will tell you. You turn something on, you hear it go, and if you turn too much on, it will just be like it'll bog down.
yeah,
You're
you
like,
can hear
too
it."
much, and then back off from there. So I don't know, but the internet will tell you exactly what kind of wattage each thing pulls. I know my coffee maker surprisingly pulled I turned it on and then it was like, I was like, no, I don't unplug my coffee maker.
You know, for
Heating element will do that. Yeah.
For 2023, I think I want to understand amperages and what pulls. You know, they always talk about that.
ovens too much.
Yeah, I want to know because you're
microwave
right.
too much.
Yeah, like there are certain things that when you turn them, like they don't do anything. But like when you turn them on, they're pulling like a drill. You put it it's like it
element,
sucked
yeah.
every bit of power we had.
No, I have terrible news, Dan. You're over 40. Your brain is already it's solid in there like a He-Man figure.
Okay,
You
so
can't-
I'm dead set
you
on what I
can't
have.
learn about
Okay.
electricity. At this point.
Never
It's done.
mind. Yeah, I'd never like messing with it anyway.
So Ross, do you watch SNL?
You know what I did? I watched I didn't watch it for like 20 years, and then during the epidemic when we were all stuck inside,
yeah.
I watched
That's-
like 20 years of it all at once.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think that's when I got back into SNL too. Was
Yeah.
during the pandemic,
Oh my
and
God,
then
that's when I got out of SNL.
And that's how I found Blinding Lights, dude. He was doing Saturday Night Live.
So
yeah.
that's how you found The Weeknd is through
Correct.
Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. That's
So-
a cool origin story.
And I think probably a lot of people got back into SNL during that time because they was like you're looking for things to watch or whatever. And so, anyways, they like this Saturday was the I guess the
premiere?
season premiere,
premiere.
and a lot of people left. Right.
Well, I feel like my dad
can you
now
go through the
because
list?
I don't even know the big star. You know, like I'm
Right.
at that age now where they've got the
Yeah.
what I'm guessing is a new leading man, and I hate even saying this because it makes me feel so damn old. But like a new leading man, and they're like with blah blah blah,
Right.
and then I don't know any of the cast, which I feel unexpected.
It's like when the Magic players come up now. I'm like, who are these
yeah,
people?
I'm like, God, I don't even know who you
Right.
are.
The most famous name was Pete Davidson, I feel, just because of the Kanye West and all that, the publicity wise. But then
Maybe towards the end. Or
I-
like Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon was the most talented. I think everybody
Pete
would.
Davidson. I
would
like
say.
Pete Davidson, but his look to me is like filthy bleach blonde insect. That's what it feels like.
I have yet to see him be what I would call professionally funny. Like I've seen him goof around. I've seen him like make jokey jokes.
can't
I haven't
comment.
like.
Never seen a stand up, so I
It's
don't
not
know.
bad.
Yeah, I've
I've
heard it's
seen
good.
it.
Okay.
I've heard it's good.
So he left, and so did Kate McKinnon, and
Adie
then
Bryant,
and-
Kyle Mooney.
Yeah, and so basically a huge chunk. I mean, how many total people?
It was like 8.
And then, like even ancillary, like Chris Redd. I know he's been on the show
Yeah.
before.
Oh, did he
left.
leave?
Yeah, he
Oh
left.
man, he's
He's
huge.
gone.
So
See,
there's like-
I've fallen
was there
expecting him
7?
to slide in
It was
as a
8.
bigger role.
Eight.
Alex Moffat, Melissa Villaseñor, Aristotle Athari, which I don't think I ever saw him ever in any episode.
I mean, I knew he was on the cast, but yeah, you're
I don't
right.
think I ever
think he was
saw him in a skit.
I think he's a writer, but primarily, or maybe like
He was a on-air cast member. Adie Bryant, Pete Davidson, Kate McKinnon, Kyle Mooney, all gone.
Wow,
So-
that's a hit.
Lauren Michaels looked around and he said, "Keenan Thompson, you are the rock upon which I will build my church."
That's his 20th
You
year.
are it.
It's
Yeah.
his 20th season this year.
He was
It's
in
crazy.
almost every sketch. I think we didn't. I only watched some of it because I was watching football. But Crystal watched
Yeah.
it, and he seemed to be in a lot of sketches.
Did they do a "What's up with that"? I'll watch it right now. If they did a "What's up with that."
You know, I gotta be honest. I like What's Up with
It's
That.
good.
Yeah,
It's so
I,
good.
I always laugh at it.
It's one of my favorite things.
So what was interesting to me is that they were calling some of the new cast members, or at least to me, were new senior cast members, like that Andrew Yang,
It's
right?
Bowen Yang.
Bowen Yang. Sorry.
Oh, man.
Well, maybe
Okay,
they've been
Bowen
writers
Yang.
and gotten elevated up to a cast member.
And he's been there
Yeah.
since the pandemic, but he was the new guy, and then
Well,
now
our perception of time and how long they've been there is all screwed up now. dude.
he may have been there for 4 years, and now he's a senior. And I'm like, you're still the new guy, because
Yeah.
in my mind, and I imagine that's hard to get over with people that are just used to the same characters, especially in a show that is known for turnover, right?
Right. It
It's
is.
like you constantly turn over people, but now I'm like, who are these new people? And like, there's maybe an old guy thing, but I'm like, I don't like any of the new people. I want the same old
Right,
people,
right.
that the
Some
characters,
familiarity, yeah.
the characters that I know, and so I like. And then we were talking that Lauren Michaels was mentioning that maybe the way they're even doing the show is antiquated.
I can't find the article, but yeah, he mentioned that this is like the biggest time he's ever had, or biggest exodus from the show that he's had in a minute, and that maybe it was time to like kind of reinvent it in a way.
which he's done before.
Right? Yeah, I mean, he actually canceled it, didn't he? I mean, it's been off the air, and then I think
He quit. And
He
there's,
quit.
there's a couple Lauren-less years,
Yeah.
and that were terrible.
And then they brought him back because he
yeah.
started it like his way back into Saturday Night Live, I believe, was starting a competing show or like a later show.
Did he maybe go to like Canada and do some stuff in Canada?
Yes, I think that's correct.
Yeah.
I think I heard that
was
on
it?
Marin.
But
Yeah.
it wasn't the SCTV guy.
No, because that had already happened.
But
by
I know that he
point.
started another show,
Yeah.
Right.
and then that somehow they're like, no, I wanted to get you back on this guy.
But even Lauren Michaels, like you age out. I don't know how old Lauren Michaels is, but
God.
he's got to be in
75?
his 70s,
70?
and so like, and how much longer can you continually be relevant
77.
at 77 years old?
You know, I didn't
and
know he was that old.
you're trying to
He's
do
been
a
doing it for like 50 years.
Yeah,
what's
dude.
what's going to stop him at this point?
yeah, but
He'll
And
do
what-
it till he dies.
What else is he gonna do?
But more has changed in the past 10 years than has changed in the prior 40, it feels like to me.
No,
with the,
that same speech you just
No?
gave, my dad gave about the cast with Belushi and Aykroyd. It was good back then with Landshark
Yeah.
No, but
and
I mean,
Mr. Bill.
You're
you
just
know,
saying
like,
how we devour it.
yeah,
how it gets
how
into
we
our
cons-
brains.
how we
Yeah.
consume it instead. Like, yeah, the cast members always change. You know, it's not like you saying like, oh yeah, it was best on the Eddie Murphy. No, I'm not saying that.
I
I'm
do
just saying
like that though when people say that.
are younger people, even 20s and 30s, consuming this the way that they have intended people to consume it, which has been hey, it's live on Saturday night, and then maybe you catch the replay. But now it seems like more people are just catching it on social media, the skits and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So then,
Or you go to Hulu and watch 20 years of it in 2 months.
yeah, or you're watching it on demand after. I know Crystal does.
Mm-hmm.
Like we rarely have ever watched it, even during pandemic, like live on Saturday.
Can I tell you
it didn't
something
matter.
though?
Who cared?
Can I tell you something though that like let me ask you guys this: do you think that factors in at all how you consume it? Because I can tell you that when at its peak, there were 2 shows that I would wait up with my buddy Dave to watch, and one of them was Saturday Night Live, and the other was Conan O'Brien, Late Night with Conan O'Brien. And when we would wait up to watch it, there was a certain level of anticipation and energy that we got out of waiting for that. Like when you knew that Saturday Night Live was going to be on at like what 11:35.
Yep.
You knew it wasn't 11:30. You knew it was 11:35, and I knew it. And I sit there and I have to sit through the stupid news. And what are they talking about? They're talking about like I don't know. It would have been like Desert Storm or something.
Reagan.
Lebanon.
Yeah. Yeah. Like what is this garbage? President Reagan. Like I don't know. Whatever they're talking about. I was like, this is terrible. And then like it would come on. There was like an energy. So I think almost by design, the way that we consumed it, I was ready. I had the energy. I had my snacks. I was like a good stand-up patron. I had come to the club. I was dressed correctly. You know what I mean? Like I was ready.
You were invested.
I was invested. I was ready to do it. And we don't watch anything with a level of investment now. We watch it because like we get it whenever we want it. So
on
to
demand,
me,
yeah.
it's not as good.
Yeah.
Like those characters, like Church Lady. We had him in here. Brought his dog, John Lovitz.
Yeah.
All the characters that John Lovitz made. All the characters that Billy Crystal made on there. I know I'm referencing all the older stuff, but only because I think those things are going to be like, you know, your Beatles reference you always talk about. It's the same
Yeah.
thing. I just feel like none of these actors that are on Saturday Night Live right now are going to hold that same weight because we casually invest in what we watch. So what would be the new way if you were like a new guy, a download kid, right?
Pre like cutting the videos and producing them, they've already been doing that like through like the Lonely Island guys started
Right,
that where it's
right.
like they're making pre-produced video shorts.
Yeah, the digital shorts always burned hot.
Even back in the day, they
Yeah,
did
they
that.
did.
Yeah, and it seems like they should
Eddie
just
Murphy,
do,
like dressed up as a white guy in one. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
but
not
like,
saying
just
that-
make more of those because you could do more with them than you could do on stage live Saturday night.
And I want to address this because the chat room said something kind of funny. They did the goofy spelling where you're like kids these days, where you do capital, non-capital,
Yeah,
capital.
yeah.
non- That's not at all what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like, do they have a version, and they meaning younger people, when you're going to digest comedy or when you're going to like watch Saturday Night Live? Is there an instance where you can get that same like dopamine dump that I would get like that? How do you chase that? Can you get that? Has the way we consume things just changed enough to take that completely away?
They're getting it 1,000 times an hour on TikTok.
That's
You know,
true.
like imagine.
Yeah.
But does that lessen it because it's smaller doses over an extended? It's like it's
oh,
extended
absolutely.
release.
Yeah, yeah, and it's
You know?
it's instant.
Yeah.
It's just happening. Yeah.
You're also fighting against the TikTok and the distraction of people wanting things faster and it's like what's the next thing, but next thing, keep my attention,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Plus we're like the whole product was meant to be a live skit show, which it doesn't seem like anybody cares about the fact that it is a live skit show and how hard that
is
is.
I
TikTok
still enjoy it, but I know I'm probably the minority.
Is it like,
No, I still enjoy it too.
No, I mean like
if there was
that
more
the fact that it's live.
if there was more
I do too.
mistakes, and like there used to be an
good-
aspect.
good call.
Because if there's no mistakes,
Yeah, bring back Jimmy Fallon.
well,
No,
where
don't
you break
bring back
character.
Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah. But
Enough of Fallon.
Nobody's ever said that. You're the only person that's ever said bring back Jimmy
Damn it.
Fallon. I've never seen who arguably I've met him and he's very nice. I've never seen somebody that seemingly is so nice and everybody that I know hates him. Just
Really?
hates him.
Interesting.
Everybody hates him.
I think also
I met him at Stetson. He was super cool.
that they also film like the run through, and if the run through is better,
They'll switch it.
then they'll use that
they'll
for
swap
the
it out.
on demand
Oh, really?
stuff.
Yeah,
which
they've
makes
always done
I
that.
didn't know that.
Yeah, they've always they run
Interesting.
cameras on the rehearsals.
So then now you're watching, like, say you're watching it the next day. So you're catching on like Sunday
Right.
afternoon or whatever you watch, or Monday. So now you're watching like the best
Yeah.
without the mistakes.
It's already been curated,
And
yeah.
then so what does it even matter that it was live? So why does it even need to be? Because it seems like they're hindering themselves by doing that. And if they were going to release the on-demand product, it's the same. Like, I don't know.
And the draw used to be, it was live, and also they had written it that week. So it
Right.
was super fresh.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like
Right.
but now you could write a bit now, publish it now, have it out there now. We're quicker than a week now. Like a
Right.
week was
Yeah,
super.
yeah.
Oh my God, they got a joke about Gerald Ford doing that thing he did last
That's
week.
why
That's hilarious.
I think we all four of us, we solved our own problem because we're sitting here talking about Saturday Night Live, and I forget which one of you mentioned TikTok. And I mean, TikTok, if you find the right algorithm, could just be a 24-hour Saturday Night Live from everybody across the globe
Oh,
giving
yeah.
their best
Yeah.
sketches that are shorter and easier to digest. So you're just flipping through a bigger cast Saturday Night Live
even like
with skits.
like last week tonight with John Oliver or whatever. Even I fell out of watching that, but the stories, like the whole point is like, hey, a recap of what's going on, like what happened that week. Where that almost seems like it's like old news
Right.
by the time he's talking about it on Sunday. Like, oh, you're talking about that? We've already been over it. Like, we have such a short attention
Yeah.
span. We're like, I already saw that on my news feed, and on to the next thing.
I'm already tired of what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. Now you're talking about something that happened Tuesday on Sunday. That's insane. Where it's like, whoa, we are a society that like we consume stuff and then
Yeah.
dump it out. It's,
You know,
such a fast turnaround.
I'm in an odd position now too as a God, I hate saying this. I think I'm like a 25-year broadcaster now, and I'm certainly the senior broadcaster here, let's just say. That's a nice way of saying I'm old as hell. But there is a time when I can remember if something popped off that you had time. You had time to get in your car and drive to work and think, what am I going to say about that? What is my take on this? How does this affect my life? You don't have any time now.
yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
It's like
It's already
literally,
done.
yeah. It's just like, it's done. Just get it out there.
Yeah,
Just poop it out. And it's not as much fun.
Like,
it's not.
The
It's
Queen dying seemed like 10 years ago.
like, oh my God.
Like, you know
What
what I'm
happened?
saying? It's like,
yeah, I forgot about that. I
That-
seriously forgot about that.
that was a fast turnaround
Yeah.
for an iconic figure. Like,
Dude,
you
they're
know,
already
now-
singing
I
God
did-
Save the King.
I did an episode.
They
of-
are. They're doing God Save the King. They did it before the I forget one of the football games, the NFL game. They did the first professional
Oh,
edition
God.
of God Save the King. He's got
yeah, Queen socks.
on. Those are
I
great.
did it. You
Ross.
heard about this one on Princess Diana because I was like, that'll be timely because the Queen just, and it was like, it, you know, it was already, it was a week ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
yeah,
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
such a
Too
fast
late.
turnaround. It's crazy. Anyway,
Four middle-aged people sit around talking about how time passes.
Dan, you brought up the algorithm. I've recently
Mine's all screwed up.
I found a way to game the algorithm, and I want to
Please tell
share it
me.
with you guys.
Yes.
This is probably not radio. I probably should say this for our
Okay,
free show,
all
but
right,
no,
all
no, it's fine. So I was scrolling Facebook the other day, and I think it was a Nike ad. Like a Nike ad popped up, and I was looking for some shoes at the time. So I like kind of scrolled through the
Yeah.
shoes that were on display in this Nike ad on Facebook, and they also showed me a lady's swimsuit.
Oh.
So I clicked through and, looked at a couple views of this lady's swimsuit.
Of course you did.
And then I started getting more and more ladies' swimsuits, and then ladies' underpants, Under Armour thongs and stuff. And the more you click on these, the more ladies' underpant ads you get in your Facebook. My Facebook now is basically a softcore porn feed. It's awesome. It's amazing.
I mean,
You just got to take a little bit of time every day to click on on an Adidas swimsuit
Just
ad,
lean into what you love.
on a Victoria's Secret,
looks
lace
nice.
thong or ad. Just a little bit of click through, and you can work your own algorithm.
Click the
They-
thongs, make the thongs.
they like it almost is a funny prank if someone leaves their Facebook open nowadays to just click on a bunch of ads that they're not interested in or whatever, go to a site while they're logged in onto something that is ridiculous because it like
Maybe
clicks.
that's why your TikTok algorithm's so crazy.
Oh, mine.
Butler hacked it.
It is insane how much they weigh a click because it will change.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you
No.
click on one ad for anything and it'll
or even
be,
talk about it.
Yes.
You're talking about they weigh it less. The clicks, they will show you the
Like, we
underwear.
got 'em, they clicked.
Yeah. They'll push that on until you start clicking on other things. Like,
Yeah, the ones that I get that are still the most confusing to me are the ones in. I don't tell me if you guys have gotten these emails where it's a man and a woman were in a jungle or a rainforest somewhere, and they met a tribe, and this tribe they have the secret to the world's largest penis. Because they talked to the lady, and then all the guys in the tribe have a big penis. And then so the guy was like, we lived with these people for a while, and they showed my wife how big they could be, and they can make you big too by making this juice. And you just gotta send some money to the. But I get one. There are so many people that know my email address that are embedded with big penis tribes. So many tribes across, like everywhere. Do you get any of those?
The big penis thing is not surprising. This tribe has email is the part that I'm confused
Oh,
about.
it's crazy. And there's photos of them in there, like they're waving. They're like, hi, it's the big penis tribe.
That's got to be a porno thing. Like it knows that you're looking at porno.
I
right?
do.
It has to be,
Is that the category you're
Look,
into?
I'm going to tell you right
It
now,
has to
I
be.
am so boring. There's only 2 sites I go to, and I don't switch it up. I don't search for anything, man, and I'm not some porn revolutionary. Xvideos and Pornhub. That's it. It's the only 2 I've ever go to, and I don't click on anything weird.
Yeah,
I've
but-
been clicking on the same stupid massage videos for the last goddamn 40 years.
Yeah, but just because it knows you're looking at porno, then you're getting the penis enlargement stuff, enhancement. You know, like
Right, it's just in a category.
Yeah, it's penis. It's like they're heavily marketing penis to you.
Here's what we advertise to porn viewers.
Yes, yeah.
The tribe thing, you're missing the mark with the tribe thing. Completely unbelievable.
I don't even know if I can say this on the radio. Do you get the one for the automatic blowjob machine? It's hands-free now.
You
Yeah,
can't
we
say
talked-
that,
yeah.
but that's fine. But
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
I do get that one. We're on the same sites.
So this is not really football related, but it's something that I can't believe a young person was like going through. Again, I'll follow me here. So I'm watching the Patriots Green Bay game because I was convinced Green Bay was going to kill the Patriots, especially with them playing Brian Hoyer, their backup,
Yeah.
and
Never even heard of that guy.
And he's
Don't
been
even know who that is.
He's
Was
been in the
Saturday
league.
Night Live this
for-
year.
Yeah, he's been in the league for 100 years.
He's been on like 8 different teams, and they showed
He's
him going
older
around.
than
like-
I ever was. I think he's 51 years old. The guy was like, I didn't even know he was on the team.
Yeah, I think he was like an assistant quarterback coach. Anyway, so their main quarterback's out, so they're playing this backup, and his backup is this kid named Zappy, right? He's a rookie, and
This is the Patriots now?
Yeah.
Patriots, New England
Yeah, that's the
Patriots.
New England Patriots.
They're playing in Green Bay and Lambeau Field,
Yeah.
like an iconic,
Yeah.
place to play. One of the most iconic fields
It's
in
an
the
iconic
NFL.
matchup, too, typically, right?
Yeah.
You got to say the frozen tundra of
Yeah.
Lambeau
Oh,
Field.
yeah. Although it's probably nice outside.
Yeah.
It's not frozen yet. But so anyway, Brian Hoyer gets hurt. He gets a concussion, right? Which
Zappy.
it leads me into it too.
Zappy sounds like a puppy's name.
So he gets hurt. He gets out. Green Bay's on the field, and then they cut to a sideline video of Bill Belichick on his like holding his knees, right, leaning over. Talking to this kid Zappy as he stares off into the field, and then I'm like, could you imagine this kid, right? Like,
I'm gonna poop in my pants. I'd be so scared.
Like,
Didn't that also happen yesterday?
On
the NFL?
Yeah, I can try and look that up. Yeah, I heard that too.
so this I don't
Let
know
me
how.
see if I can find it.
Like Zappy, he's a rookie, obviously, and I forgot what the Patriots picked him up.
He's a rescue
round.
quarterback.
But he didn't go to
Emotional support quarterback.
a real big school or whatever. But now he's about to get onto the field at Lambeau Field and play for the Patriots. And Bill Belichick is telling you something. And you're sitting on the field. It's like, man, could you imagine what that 22-year-old
the
kid?
pressure of that?
Because this kid grew up since he was, born basically. Bill Belichick's been the, what I'm saying? So he grew up watching Bill Belichick.
That's the hardest one.
playing
yeah.
Madden
And he
with
got
Bill-
all of the cliches.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Belichick, the field, the iconic
Yeah.
teams.
Like this kid played
Yeah.
Madden growing up. Like obviously he's been in sports all his life.
Brady as a Patriot is still a
Like,
thing.
yeah. Like he
no,
watched Brady and the
Yeah.
Patriots win Super Bowls as this kid was like a teenager. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like imagining playing one day. Like imagine if I was Brady, because obviously he's a quarterback or whatever. And then you're sitting on the sidelines and Bill Belichick is lecturing you before you have to get on the game and
Yeah.
play against Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers on the
Yeah,
other
yeah.
side of the field.
MVP.
And he threw a touchdown. And they almost
Oh,
beat
no,
Green Bay.
they actually were. I thought they were quite nice to
Like-
Zappy. I hate saying that name.
I'm just saying, like, now
They didn't shred him.
you could argue like he started to deteriorate real bad, but he threw a touchdown in that game. And I was like, it's crazy to me because now I'm looking at it like a 22-year-old,
Yeah, it's
how
like
young.
you getting pulled out of the
No.
Dew Mountain Sports Action Tour and you get seated on a bike and then Travis Pastrana is whispering in your ear.
I think you're better suited for it because I think that when you're younger, I think you
you're more fearless and stuff. But,
But I
still,
think you won't overthink it. You'll get in there and do it, I think.
Yeah, and you can make the argument the reps and stuff. This is all this kid's done his
Right.
whole life, but still, in that situation, this soon in the year, like obviously when he started the year, he probably thought I'll never even see the field,
No.
right? A lot would have to happen, right? And it did, and now he's seeing
Or
the
you
field.
may have. Have you guys ever had one of these where you're like, "Oh, I hope I see the field. I hope I see the field.
Or
oh
every-
crap,
yeah.
I'm gonna see the field." You know what I mean? Like one of those where it changes your kind of your perspective, and then you got to like kind of nut up.
Yeah.
Well, all these players, obviously, they want to play. They want to prove themselves.
Sure.
They're all like the best athletes in the world to get to the NFL. No matter what, even you're on a practice squad, you're such a small percentage of an athlete that made it there. But still, when Bill Belichick was talking to this kid, I was looking at it like, it's crazy. This he's now about to enter the game, and
what do you think he was saying to him?
I don't know. That's interesting too.
I
I'd
saw
love to
Belichick
know.
screaming. I haven't seen him scream like that in a while.
Oh,
He
he
threw
threw
his
his
headset. I haven't seen
Yeah.
that in a minute.
Yeah.
I always thought he'd stay there like a stoic, kind of like
Yeah.
he's like
I like that.
the hoodie gargoyle standing there. No, not today. He smashed his headset and he yelled.
And then just to continue on, just because I consume a lot of the NFL, did you see Tua get knocked out on? This happened Thursday night. We didn't talk about it on Friday.
Nobody
but,
liked my joke in the group where I said, "How many concussions did they say he had? One? No, Tua."
they
Nobody liked
wow.
that.
They
It's
fired-
That was a solid dad joke.
they fired. That is a solid dad joke. They
I
fired.
didn't like. Dolphin fans hated it, just for the record.
They fired that doctor that let him go out the last game when he beat the Bills, which was amazing.
But that all made sense to me when they
Ah.
talked about the back injury and and they're talking, oh, it's a persistent back injury.
well, we all watched it and we're like, that ain't no back. That guy he can't even walk. Like
his bell is wrong.
I've seen, yeah. Well, you see him get up, and then you're like, "Oh, you do
Whoa.
that." Like we've all seen
Oh, so
MMA
sad.
It
MMA
is
fighters
sad.
and boxers and stuff. Although, and then the hit he took in Cincinnati, where he basically got
He seized up.
flung into the ground, and then
Well, his
at first.
arms went kang, and I'm like, oh, he's dead. I
What?
was like, he's dead. That's how people get paralyzed.
At first, I was like, "Oh my god, he broke all his fingers." He's looking, and he's
oh my
looking
God, his
at
piano
him.
career.
I'm like,
Oh, Jesus.
he broke his fingers, and he's looking at him in horror. But it actually he's just
Ah.
unconscious.
How
and,
will I play Adele?
And I saw it on Twitter. Every neurologist talking about how it's basically like,
case of the stink fingers.
it's the stiff arm you get when you
Yeah.
get knocked out, and your fingers get stiff, and
Your brain ain't controlling
Yeah,
stuff anymore.
yeah.
Your brain.
It's
ain't
weird
in
that the NFL's now like kicking doctors out for misdiagnosing things when they are the league of like give them a shot and get them back on the field.
100%.
You know,
Yeah,
like,
Yeah, I
that's-
thought the doctors
Oh.
that lied about it were the ones you kept, not
Right.
fired, you
Yeah.
idiots. We're not
Used
going
to
to
be.
have any doctors
Well,
left
they
if you
normally did, but now they're getting backlash.
guys... Yeah,
so
well,
they
you
got to
keep-
do something.
Well, we're going to have no league if you keep doing that.
we need those doctors with those patent leather little bags, and they
Yeah,
pull
yeah.
out a 12-inch needle
Yes.
out of it, and they inject some amber
You're
fluid
good.
into you, and you get back on the field.
Sam, look up Chicago Bears Dan Hampton. They would shoot the guy. He'd unwrap his knees, and then they'd go like cocoon, cocoon with the huge
Yeah, yeah.
nails. Then they'd rewrap him so he looked like a mummy, and then he'd just walk out there stand because he was a massive, huge dude, and he'd just go right back to playing. And these guys all got addicted to it.
John
and-
Madden's "Hey, I Wrote a Book." There's a passage where he talks about the fact that like he
Oh.
sent guys back for shots, and he was like,
Wow.
I don't know what was in it, but I just sent him to
Yeah,
knock
yeah.
to get it."
goes boom, that guy goes pow, and this guy goes nowhere.
It's a really good book.
Dan Hampton apparently riding around drinking a jug of cheap red wine last December and got a DWI.
Oh, yeah, that's about right. That's what you do when your knees don't work.
You're
What do you
playing
want to
Swiss
do for
cheese.
fun, Sam? You give me a better idea than riding around with a jug of wine.
But it
I hear nothing.
it has like the pendulum has swung a little too far because now people are like calling for Tua to retire and stuff. And it's like this is this
Well, I
guy's
believe in that.
choice. It's his livelihood, and he wants to play. Like leave it up to him.
Why would they force him to retire? That's insanity.
Well, because people watching, saw 2 bad concussions, and then they're like, "Oh my God, they're worried for it." But it's like you
the
still
first one
be
was
re-
a funny concussion. The second one was a bad concussion.
But the it's like we do have to let these people make their own decisions. Like we
Can
let
they though?
yeah, they can.
Their brains rattled.
No, but that's the thing too. I've had a lot of concussions, and
Oh.
I know I'm saying a lot.
Exactly. You can't make any decisions.
People are calling for you to
That's why you
retire
have
too,
me
Tom.
and your wife.
and people do go too far in the fact that, and this is why I think the overall the narrative is like it is
You said
hard to
overall, and
watch.
Big Tim appeared.
It's hard to watch, but all the people that have been in football football for many years, they're numb to it because people had concussions all the time throughout games, 10, 20 years before this whole concussion thing. Like, it was a norm. Like, now, we all seen in the NFL change, like, this is a bad thing. Like, people are shooting themselves in the heart and, like, dying from CTE and, like, all these bad negative effects. But it happens so often that a lot of these older coaches and stuff and people that have been in the NFL a long time are a little numb to it and don't look at it as a big of a deal as the rest of society. Because people are like, listen, there's coaches in the NFL that are coaching right now. They're like, I've had, 35 concussions, and they used to literally multiple concussions a game just give you smelling salts and put you back out there. And that was going on every game, 10 times a game.
How much responsibility do I have as a viewer of the NFL to the safety of the players that play in the NFL?
No, I mean, it's up to
none.
I mean, but I'm just saying,
the players.
But that's what we're kind of talking about,
Sure.
right? Or like, because then you get the people that are like, well, you can't support that because these people are killing them, right?
Well, that's the whole point of the thing. Leave it all on the field.
It's
Right.
a contact. Yeah.
I'm
You
with
are
you.
trading future health and happiness for success on the field. That's the
Yeah.
whole point.
Yeah. In a contact sport,
Yeah.
that it's like boxing or MMA. And
Even
stuff.
baseball. Guess what? Their wrists get banged
Oh,
up.
they
Like,
get Tommy
there's
John surgery like every year. There's hundreds of dudes.
poor guy on the hurling from that mound. His shoulders. He's gonna walk like he's unconscious.
Look
for
at
the rest
my-
of his life.
He's trading
Yeah.
that for millions of dollars. Like, that's a trade-off. And
Gymnasts,
Correct.
gymnasts, they stunk their. I don't support that one, but it happens,
Yeah.
'cause
But-
they love to
Also-
do their flips. They're into the flips.
How many normal people, thousands of people, are hurting themselves daily working a hard-ass job? Like, lots of them. They're
We
getting
gotta
paid
make we got to make roofing more safe.
way less.
Too many concussions in roofing.
Anyway, it seems like they've done a good enough job with what they've done. It's just these things will happen in a contact sport, and people will get horrible concussions where
see, like,
it's horrible to watch.
Here's the
It's
last
like-
thing I'll say, though. Does that help? Okay, not to open this up because I know you'll start going a mile a minute.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
as a gambler, does this make it so? Because nobody's okay. Tua
You
comes
got to
back.
know when to hold them.
Well, wait, that's a fact. But when Tua does come back, nobody's going to be the guy that hits the guy, right?
Oh yeah,
No one will ever hit that guy, right? Nobody will want to be the guy that hits that guy. You want to be the guy that
yeah.
killed Tua?
Maybe they will
No.
take it down a touch because they'll hit him, but maybe they don't want to be the guy that breaks him. You know.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, doesn't that factors in or no?
No, the guys that are hitting them have 24 concussions. They don't give. They're like, who cares about a concussion? I've had multiple concussions. No one give a damn about me.
I mean, I've had a couple. I don't know, not as many as you, but I had one in the hospital. It was bad.
Anyway, let's take a break. We'll be right back with more corporate time.
Welcome back to a corporate time.
So
I'm gonna be honest. I thought you guys started without me. I thought that last 5 minutes was on the show.
Oh,
That's why you were running in.
I was
yeah.
going all out. Yeah.
You're good. You're good.
Well, and Ross was talking about the we record this all on Twitch, so if you do want to listen, you can listen to audio only on if you get the Twitch app.
Yep.
You can go hear that highly controversial statement I just made 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, you can also watch us on YouTube. Just search Tom and Dan Live or search us on Twitch, Tom and Dan Live, for replays there as well.
Yeah. So Daniel showed me this video of this fishing tournament, and basically this guy was cheating by stuffing what looks like lead sinkers into the fish he caught, and then
It was a walleye. It was Lake Erie walleye tournament.
And a guy then confronted him and was videotaping the whole time as they pulled the lead sinkers
It's
out.
aggressive, dude. Like,
So
this
let's
is going to
watch
make you
this,
uncomfortable.
'cause
So we're talking about Pennsylvania rednecks right here. And
Yeah.
let me tell
Yeah.
you, that's a special kind of redneck.
Yeah.
They get angry. They are armed. There's a lot.
Cold rednecks are more angry.
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
With
A
the hot-
warm red, a flip-flop
the
redneck,
war-
a little happier.
Well, the warmer the redneck gets, the more
Yeah.
party he gets. Like,
Yeah.
It's just more about the party and horny.
Pennsylvania redneck. Let me explain to you. Imagine your favorite local Southern redneck that you know.
Yeah.
Now imagine that his grandfather and his father were alcoholic iron workers who got laid off and had nothing to do during his childhood.
Okay.
Yeah.
They grow up hard and tough.
Yeah. Then it's cold. Dude, it's cold as balls all the time. All right.
So this is Walleye Tournament Cheaters Got Busted. You can find this on YouTube. I'm just going to
it's
give
so
you
awkward.
give you a little piece of it here. We will have to edit this, so just be mindful of what we got to edit here. Here we go.
We got weights and fish. There we go.
All right, hold on. We
Okay,
can't even
yeah.
play
They're
any of
just
this.
they're losing it.
Wow.
We got weights and fish, mother effer.
So just
And
to
he does the
describe,
umpire. Get out of here.
Yeah.
so
We
what?
got weights and fish.
There's so many,
That is
so much
really fun
cursing.
to
I don't
scream.
understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, we'll just
basically,
blanket that
Yeah.
piece out. We'll just blanket it out.
So basically, there's a bunch of fishermen standing around. Now, these guys look like they're serious because they got the stereotypical fisherman jerseys on with
Right.
all their sponsors. You know what I'm saying?
It's
Like,
a-
they're kind of
you
like
know,
motocross jerseys.
I
but
mean
Yeah.
no disrespect to our fishing members. We also have one on the line. I mean no disrespect to you, sir.
Yeah.
But fisherman jerseys and professional bowling jerseys are the same jerseys. They're the same jerseys, right? They're the supplemented dry fit.
yeah.
Supplemented dry fit.
These guys put their name on the back like there's some kind of fish umpire out there that's going to have to
Yeah,
call
yeah,
them
yeah.
out.
I
Please
think
tell
these
me
are-
they have like fish nicknames on the back.
Oh, absolutely. But I think
Yes.
these guys are rivals. Now, wait, I think I got to a part that we can play, hopefully. Sam, again, be mindful here. I think this is the part where you get the close up. Everybody gathers around. This is from a different angle.
All right.
And here's a little.
Listen to me right now. Everybody listen to me right now. Jake, I want you to leave. I don't want anybody to touch these guys. I want you to leave. Please go to jail. Jason, you should call the cops. Call the cops. It's them. It's them. You fucking
And then he starts cutting the fish open, and he's going to start pulling sinkers out here.
Now,
Jason, we gotta file police.
Oh, my God. Just tons of
oh yeah.
Look at these weights. Look at these weights.
Every fish.
Where's your crown now? Somebody yelled.
What
Did you hear
the
that one?
hell? Yeah.
Where's your crown
I also
now,
love-
Princess Diana?
In the CNN article about this,
Oh my God.
they're mad, and the crowd is saying like, "This is a family event," as they're all cussing this guy out, saying they're gonna beat his
Yeah,
ass.
well, you know.
You got to teach your kids how to
Taking
handle fish
time
fingers.
away from our family.
So it's funny that they're screaming, "Call the cops!" Because we're all looking at this. We're like, "There's leads and like lead weight in a fish."
Yeah, what
This
is
is like a
But-
plot line
What
on
do
the
you get
Andy
charged
Griffith
with?
show, right?
Yes.
Like, it's like what happens on Andy Griffith.
So
Aunt B's like, check that fish.
we
seems awfully heavy, Andy.
we talked to a BDM on a Weird Job Wednesday that fished in these tournaments locally,
Yeah.
and I
what do you get
messaged him.
charged with?
Well,
Thank you for lining this up, dude.
So, Chris, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am. How y'all doing today?
Good.
Man, first of all, I gotta apologize to you. I when you said this happens, I think I said that you're full of crap, and I'm sorry. You're right.
So when on the Weird Job, we talked to Chris about people cheating and like people putting weights in fish
I
because
just
I was
can't
laughing
imagine
about.
people. These guys were stuffing fillets in there. They were cutting up smaller fish, and if the lead weight, they pull the lead weight out. They were also sticking fillets, and they're sticking anything they could find. They'd stick a damn Sunny Delight bottle in there if they had one.
So Chris,
That's
first,
a great idea. You just put more fish in the fish. How are they going to
Yeah.
tell?
That's natural. They
Well,
were doing it, Ross.
yeah, but they're also like these guys know fish, and they're like, "Hey, there's extra fish stuffed in here."
Oh crap! Your
Oops,
fish,
all
came-
fish.
Your fish came with extra fillets that are pre-cut.
I'll fight that one all the way to the Supreme Court. Oh, you found fish in my fish? Get out of here.
Or you put more of what the fish naturally eats,
Right,
and
right.
stuff his belly full.
Yeah.
It's like, look, it ate 800
Oh,
shrimp.
we're no better than those guys if we're just gonna sit around and do this.
So, Chris, Ross brought up a good point because Ross's point was he was pulling multiple lead weights out of this one fish.
It was too much.
And Ross watched the extended video, and he heard the host, the announcer at the fishing tournament, predicting what the weight of the fish was going to be. So he's
Anytime
like,
somebody came up on stage, this guy knew within half a pound what the fish weighed already, the MC of the event.
yeah. So all these guys know fish, and they know, like, all right, you got a 17-inch, whatever. What kind of fish was this? But whatever the fish was,
These are walleyes, Tom.
a 17-inch walleye weighs about 3.5 pounds, and when it weighs in 6 pounds, it seems like a dead giveaway.
Dead giveaway.
That you're cheating. So, Chris, how stupid are these guys to add so much weight? And did you watch the video?
Oh, yeah, I've seen the video. It's blowing up everywhere. Fishing groups, people, it's meme crazy already. Guys are photoshopping their catches with just nothing but lead weights that they're holding up at the weight. But
Big in
basically
the
with those
fishing
guys-
community.
Yeah, with those guys, they just got greedy. So I talked, that was up somewhere up towards the Great Lakes. I actually don't even think, I think it was in a river system south of the Great Lakes that they were fishing in. But I guess these guys had been busted for this before, and going back to beating a polygraph test, I will admit I was wrong too, and you guys were right. They beat a polygraph test for it last year, and their lawyer got them off. So these guys have been on the radar for cheating for years now.
Oh man, I love this scandal.
This is such a great story, dude. Now we got to see a documentary to walk it back a little bit, because I didn't get enough. After I watched this, I was like, well, I want to know the history. And is it true that they are rival fishing teams? And because one guy in here in the video, he says, I got you on video. And then the other guy gave a little backstory about how in the public eye, they had been like basically bashing each other. And one guy actually got, I guess, a restraining order against the other guy. Is that true?
I actually haven't heard about the restraining order, but I do know that this has been going on with these two particular guys. I don't have anything to do with walleye fishing, and I knew the names of these guys. So
Okay.
They're big-time guys. You know, they're sponsored. You know, they get boats every year, trucks every year.
The
All
audacity.
the time. I mean, this is top-tier guys. I mean, I still, again, feel weird saying top-tier athletes, but they are the top of that walleye fishing.
What's funny, too, is the freeze frame that I have on the video right now is the guy in question. I forget the guy's name. And the guy's saying, I got your video. Do you have anything to say? This is the part that Tom hated, because he's like, do you have anything to say? Are you going to say anything? And the guy's just standing there, which I don't know how that guy has the balls just to stand there without sticking his hands in his pockets and Forrest Gump running out of there. Like, ah! Like,
If I'm that guy Jake, the second he says we got lead weights, I am turning and running. I'm
Yeah.
gone.
But this guy just stood there.
He just stood
there.
But I feel like he should. He is taking the abuse. Also, I'd like to point out that his jersey, and this is the sad part, and it also makes me uncomfortable, it says Masters Walleye Circuit. Yeah, this guy is like top tier. This is like the Winston Cup. They don't do that anymore. What's it called now? I forget. I'm showing my age. But this
Chris,
is the end of the line for walleye fishing. This is the guys that make the hundo $1,000, right?
Well, yeah, before we talk about the criminal aspect of this, because I started, we laughed when someone said call the cops, but then I started thinking about, like, they are technically defraud. Like, there's money, all these people paid, and there's huge prize money.
Do you know what their prize would have been? Unless I'm wrong, it was $25K right on the top.
Yeah.
25K.
It was
29.
45,000.
40.
CNN
Yeah,
says
45,000
29.
for that particular one.
Jesus Christ, 50 grand. Dude.
So, Chris, have you ever seen the law enforcement get involved with cheating? Because it does seem like it's stealing a little bit.
Try
but-
fishing without a license. And
That's true.
you know,
They
like-
are hardcore about it.
Right, they're writing a whole new bit.
Although
Fishing bits are great around here.
cheating in a tournament, money tournament, it doesn't seem illegal.
Yeah, but
How
everybody
could it
else
be
is
illegal?
invested. Like, if I bought bait, if I took time off of work, if I've invested to play that and I never had a shot.
Yeah, but it seems like the cops, if you did call them, they'd be like, "Listen, work this out with you." You know, it's like
Yeah,
I'm not
I know
that.
you're
Whatever.
right. You're right.
You know,
We got bigger things.
like,
We got kids out there that are being sexualized.
They didn't do anything illegal, but I guess you could sue them.
that's enough money for a felony, right?
It's definitely illegal.
Yeah.
There's quite a few states that have actually, it's a criminal law. Louisiana is very strict on it. They'll take you straight to jail. They'll take your boat, your truck, all your gear,
What's the
anything in your
charge? Just
possession that they
theft?
catch you with, they seize all of it. And
What?
it's
Flim
like
flam.
that
Felony
They
theft?
charge
Yeah.
it with grade A. It's a grade A felony flim flam. Louisiana flim flam.
I do believe it is
It's a
felony,
Louisiana
actually.
fishing flim flam.
Yeah,
damn.
they did. I'm sorry, we're going to take him downtown. He's getting a felony. It's a
Hold on.
class 1 felony
Well, I
Louisiana
think
flip
they
flap.
take him to the precinct in an airboat.
Yeah, he's got a.
Hold on,
That's
what is the charge though?
Sam's
Because
got a great question.
this is a-
What's the charge?
this is a private fishing
But it's
tournament.
going to be one of those weird ones where they're like, it's defrauding an innkeeper. All the weird stuff goes to
Yeah, yeah.
defrauding an innkeeper.
Because if I was like cheating at a card room and they would just
Yeah.
kick me out, like if you're counting cards in Vegas, they just trespass you. It's not illegal. Like you can't call the cops. They can only trespass you. So what is the charge?
I don't exactly know what the charge is. I know there's different ones that they can get you with, but it's almost like a fraud.
Yeah,
type
it doesn't
start.
have to be a specific fish-related fraud. It's just fraud. You're representing this
Yeah.
fish to weigh a certain amount when you've doctored it to weigh more than that
You know
to
what?
win money in a contest. It's
And
fraud.
and it could also come back to all the documentation that you signed to enter the tournament. Remember, that's like
yeah.
some sort of a contract, right?
Oh,
Not
yeah.
to play lawyer,
There
but
you
I'm
go.
going to guess that all these other people that have their money, right, because you have to pay to be in this tournament,
Yeah.
they can use all of that against you. It's like, no, you said this was your affidavit. This was you saying that you absolutely are on the hook for everything we just busted you for. So now it's a crime.
I will present only undoctored
That's
fish. That's got to be in
100%
there,
on.
yeah.
Yeah, that I bet you that's what they do.
So, Chris, Daniel brought up something too that we laughed at. They were stuffing
I've been
filet.
laughing all morning about this. Like,
Where first,
I
how
love stuff like this. This is
how
my
do you think
favorite.
they caught them, Chris? Because I don't know. Like the video only shows them like catching them, but how do you like? Did they even know?
And
It
did
sounds like from the CNN article. It sounds like when they said the weight, everybody was like, everybody was
But-
like, "There's no way that
But
that fish weighs that
Samantha,
amount."
and I don't mean to call you Samantha, but I get serious.
That's my name.
But I mean, normally I say Sam. But it got to one of those points then. That means it got to one of those points where the guy said, you had the standoff where the guy goes, well, cut my fish open then.
Well,
right,
no,
when
the
you're
guy,
right on
the guy
precipice.
grabbed the fish and he said, I physically felt the
Yeah.
fish and I could feel hard objects inside the
fingers in
fish.
it.
Yeah, but still, like, how do you get to the point where, like,
Cut
well, I'm
her
looking- and then
open.
you, oh, God. it's
Well, this
so
all
good.
happens in a square footage of like 200 square feet. Like when they cut that fish open, they're right off the stage where
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
doing the weigh-ins and the emceeing and everything.
And by the way, the only crowd that's there are the actual fishermen. Like,
Right.
no one actually.
And their families,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I know.
And but their families, they don't want to be like. Their sons are out there playing it by the truck. Like their wife is mad sitting on the damn
Don't drop
cab.
Daddy's coasters. He spent a lot of money at those coasters.
If you watch the whole video, though, like if you watch, I watched a bunch of weigh-ins for whatever reason. I
Ross.
watched.
Ross is the only one that watches tournament fishing weigh.
Well, this is my first time, but I'm very interested now. So I watched a lot of the weigh-ins on this, and where was I going with this? They for the majority of the event, there's nobody there. There's like the guy getting his fish waved and his wife watching, and it seems like they maybe saved these guys for the end, or like whenever these guys got up, word kind of spread, and
Yeah.
the crowd gathered.
We're going to get him today.
lynch these
Yeah,
guys.
It ends
Yeah.
today.
Yeah.
Jeremiah, it ends today. I love those.
I imagine some guy kissing a fish and going, "I'm gonna justice for you."
How do you slip it in there? How do you put the weights in? Or you just do it while you're out there in the field fishing?
Are you talking to Andrea?
Chris,
Yes.
how do you? What do they stuff them down the fish's mouth?
Yeah, like
That's actually what me and a couple other guys have been talking about. We don't exactly know because when they cut the belly of the fish open, well, a couple of the fish that they cut open, the weights are just there. They're not inside their stomach because I thought maybe they shoved them down their throat or something like that. But I'm not sure. It's really kind of got me thinking how they did it. I guess apparently I'm not as good at cheating as they are. But
Well, I guess now they're claiming that these fish were raised with weights inside them. What? And then released into the actual river or lake, and then these guys, they just happened to catch the ones that were raised with weights. No, I made that up. I made that up. But
You should be a lawyer.
Yeah,
You should be a lawyer.
Well, but how,
That's the old when they find weed in your pants. They're like, these are not my pants.
not my bad. Yeah, these are not my fish.
Some other tournaments that have had some cheating scandals, people were charged with bribery or threat to influence a contest, which is a third-degree felony.
Okay, there you go.
Huh. That's interesting.
Crazy.
So Chris, you've mentioned before that this does happen all the time. Are these guys going to be banned from any tournament in the future?
Oh, for sure. At least that one, for sure.
yeah, they'll never fish a tournament again in their life unless it's in a different country.
Oh, different country.
Oh, they're gonna do like golf and go over and get
dude.
that Saudi
Yeah,
fish
they'll
money.
ban them up there.
the live.
Yeah, the live fast
Yeah,
tour.
live faster. You get over these Saudi guys. They love him. We love the bitch.
There's
Imagine,
bullets in here.
imagine growing up in Pennsylvania and then you end your life getting your head cut off in a Saudi stadium because you cheated in a fishing tournament.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You don't want to be cheating. You don't want to be
Hell
cheating.
no.
Yeah,
Not
different
over there,
laws.
dude.
Yeah, different punishments.
So, Chris, do you think the I don't know if there's any record of are these people going to be stricken from the record books as far as if they, what I'm saying,
past
in the
winnings.
past winnings,
Yeah.
they'll put an asterisk next to it, kind of like they did with the steroids in baseball, where
Yeah.
they caught a 20-pound whatever fish this was.
Yeah, walleye.
Back in 2005, but now we put an asterisk on it because it could have been a weight fish.
Yeah, because these guys were the biggest of the bigs, and then it gives validation to the other guys, and then these guys get run out of town. They've probably been waiting on this for like a long time, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, now they're talking about possibly a class action lawsuit. I'm not a lawyer. I catch fish. So, but, they're defrauding these guys for years. So I've heard anywhere from these guys have won $300,000 over the past few years all the way up to as high as $3 million. And now if they cheated once, they're assuming they've cheated every single time before this.
Right.
So there's a lot more money than what most people think that's going to be involved with this.
Yeah, that's the number I heard too, is $500,000.
So-
I was like,
But it's all in Budweiser themed crap, right? Like,
I'll get back my Winston jacket. And here's my Dale Earnhardt hood, commemorative hood.
So, Chris, it seems like going
Got a
back
couple
to
Yeti coolers here.
our original weird job when I was coming up with different ways to cheat, because I've already thought of like, a bunch of different ways to cheat on these fishing tournaments that is harder, that you wouldn't get caught.
What you got to do is inject the fish with some sort of cement.
Okay,
You
well,
got like a mercury. You got to
Yes.
inject the fish with a liquid mercury type of supplement or something that will
while it's
won't-
alive,
yeah.
so its bloodstream
Oh,
disperses it.
Yeah.
So it's just like, because I mean, half a pound could make the difference in these tournaments, right? Like, how close does it get? Like ounces, right?
Oh, yeah, within ounces. I've lost a tournament by 1 ounce before.
you guys aren't thinking. Think about it. You need something to increase the weight that is undetectable. What you do is, right before you get on stage, you grab your fish, you pop its little mouth open, a couple pieces of ice in there. Chuck some ice in there.
Oh yeah.
Wait, that fish weighs. Oh, this weighs too much. Okay, go cut it open next to the side of the stage. What are you gonna find? Water.
We got
Well,
ice in here.
Yeah, let me put it under my arm first before you cut it open. Hold on.
It's funny that you talked about because the person that sent us the story, their opening was, here's a business idea for Tom. If Tom can look at something through a cheating lens, cheating will happen. Giant corporations can hire Tom. They learn from their flaws. Bigger profits, smaller losses. Tom gets his cut. Win-win.
No, yeah, that's why I'm really good at
You're a
cheating.
cheating consultant.
You are a
Called
cheating consultant.
Corporate lawyers, and they exist. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the easiest way to cheat on these fishing tournaments is just to grow a fish that is a massive fish in some
Yeah.
other location, and somehow you would have to pretend
You
to
need
catch
a white
it.
man can't jump scenario.
Like,
What I mean by that, the
scu-
fish has got to be in on it.
Like, can
it's
you-
got to be your fish.
Can you just put them?
Woody Harrelson's your fish.
Can you scuba dive the lake, put them on some sort of string at the bottom of
Yeah.
the lake at a GPS location, and then go and
Yeah.
and catch the fish?
I'm
you
gonna
know
say
what
that's happened.
Oh,
I'm gonna
yeah.
say I've seen that article
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
think that's,
But
to
then
me,
the-
that's better because you don't want to be up there. The lead weight thing is just too, you know what it is? It's clumsy. It's too clumsy.
Well, it's easy to get detected
Yeah,
too. It's like,
absolutely. I mean, a magnet or something. You know, a metal detector. You just run it over the fish. Beep, 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 beep. It's
Yeah.
like,
The other thing I thought was I don't know if you saw the method for weighing this, but I don't know if you've ever gotten weed before, Tom. They have this thing where you can set the scale to not measure the container, you know?
yes.
Oh,
So
right,
they're bringing
yeah.
all their fish up in like plastic milk crates, right? So like doctor the milk crate, put some lead in the bottom of the milk crate. It weighs heavy, and then you go inspect my fish. I don't care.
I think the milk crate is from the
consistent.
tournament,
Yeah.
and they hand it out.
You
like
slap
you-
a weight on the
Yeah.
bottom right
Yeah.
before you weigh it, dude.
yeah, a couple of
They-
those little balancing metals from like a
Pinewood
rim,
Derby.
a rim shop or something. Yeah, the ones that balance out your wheels.
So, Chris, before
A
this,
ceiling fan weight.
because I imagine these guys are so competitive that they are all looking for possible cheaters everywhere. So they are inspecting every single, like they
Yeah.
are getting in your business. Like I don't
Let me
think.
see in your boat.
yeah,
Let me look
yeah.
in your cooler.
Like how
Let me look under your hat.
how competitive are these guys?
Actually, you're 100% correct, Dan. That's what they do before every tournament.
Really? They check it for weights and all this kind of
And,
stuff. You got to
and
put
fish that you have previously caught or whatever.
Jokes on
Yep.
you,
Yeah,
fishing
they check
weights
your live
in my
well,
butt.
storage components, everything. They check your boat bow to stern every time.
Like, do you
Oh my
think
God.
soon they'll add just like some sort of camera that's always on your boat to make sure you're not, doing anything?
Oh, like police. That works great.
Well, I was just saying.
Yeah, we're so far so
Yeah,
good with that.
that is actually, I've actually suggested that for years now.
Body
Some of your
cam.
top bass fishing tournament series, you actually, in the old days, if you guys had ever seen bass fishing before, you'd have your professional angler and then your co-angler, which is like a a guy like me, that's just kind of coming up and stuff like that. Now what they do is you have the pro angler, and each boat gets a marshal.
Yeah.
And this guy's job is to, as soon as you catch the fish, they weigh it, write everything down, and immediately release the fish. It cuts back on any possibility for nonsense like this to happen.
Oh, to release them faster so you can't doctor the fish.
Well, yeah. Well, that's
Yep.
that's when you get one of those judges in your pocket, and
Yeah.
there's a bunch of other corruption.
Well, you gotta
Yeah,
dig
yeah.
up some dirt on them.
Yeah.
You gotta know. I know you cheat on your wife, Harvey.
yeah, yeah.
And you're my marshal
Yeah,
today.
yeah,
So
yeah.
unless you want your life to go down
Yeah, yeah.
straight down the Esser,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
gonna start weighing these fish a little heavier for old Danny D.
Yeah. I know about your back surgery and your OxyContin
Exactly.
addiction.
I know that your
Yeah.
daughter has an OnlyFans, and I know the church would be really upset to find
yeah.
out about all
Yeah.
the little butt plugs she's using.
Then they
So
look-
unless you want that URL leaked, Harvey, you'll start weighing my fish right.
Then they're looking the other way, or I'm getting my cheater fish, and I've already just scuba dove down there. And
Scuba dove.
I'm just saying, I have some line around its tail.
Well, I'm always
some mega
down there.
fish.
Why do you always make me scuba dove?
Daniel's down there.
I'm always down there.
He's putting the fish on my hook.
Because he knows that if they find me, I'll kill myself. I'll be like,
Yeah.
I'm bored, blow my head off in the
I'm
water.
like, bite your cyanide teeth.
That's all I have.
Oh!
I only Ross, did you only, I only have one regular tooth. Every other tooth's a cyanide tooth.
You can like,
So hard to eat corn.
your friend bit his cyanide tooth for a glitter bass boat.
He's fizzing and floating down the river.
He killed himself for a glitter bass boat.
Why is he wearing a neon green wetsuit?
By the way, in this scenario, you bought off the marshal, so you don't need to do any of this.
So
It's pointless.
Chris, last thing, because I noticed in this video that all the new age fishermen now in these
New age
tournaments.
fishermen, they got crystals all over their boats.
I'm just saying it used to.
Long hair.
It used to be where you had your standard Columbia shirt, right, and then some patches of your sponsors.
Oh, now they got the supplementation.
Yeah. Now they've gone to
Full jerseys.
supplemented motocross jerseys. Seriously, and like it looks like a motocross jersey with their name on the back.
Oh, yeah.
And all their sponsors, American flags, everything fully printed, like down to like who you're printing on the bottom right. And so the whole thing, but it's too,
But I got sponsor room on my love handle.
like what happened to the button down Columbia shirt? Why did you go to supplemented motocross jersey?
I don't know, you're hurting my feelings because I'm currently having my jerseys made. But
Hold on. Can we talk?
Well, that's what I do.
Can
I
we
love
talk-
hurting people's feelings.
Can we talk about your jerseys? How much Monster Energy slime is on your jersey? Because you got to have a lot of American flags and a lot of Monster Energy slime and
yeah.
aggressive lettering. You got to look like Metal Militia if it only had 4 teeth.
listen, if Oscar wants to pay me, I will dress as one large green M out on the bow of my boat.
Okay.
Also, why put the American flag? Are they paying you? Like, I know the government isn't, so it's like
They're taxing
Yeah, exactly. Like, if anything, only put the sponsors that are paying you.
Yeah, of course.
I think they do the American flag because a Trump logo wouldn't fly very well on TV for him. So
Okay.
they
That's
do
right.
it.
That's true.
Yeah, 'cause he is.
God damn it.
I'm sure some. Hold on.
You wanted
There's
an
not
honest
one-
answer.
There's not one pro fishing guy that has a big Trump jersey. I'm sure there is, right? You know
Oh,
what?
there's got to be. If not, he's missing a heck of a big market.
100% there is.
Are we sure Tom hasn't been replaced by an alien? Because here's an opportunity to waste money on a stupid sponsorship, and Tom hasn't even offered yet. I don't.
Well, we want him to
Yeah.
cheat.
Glad
and
you
he's
mentioned that, Ross.
Well, Ross, we want him to put weights in his fish, and he just doesn't cut the jib. This guy's too
I
straight.
already threw out all my Tom and Dan Co-Magnet lead weights after this happened. They foiled my plan.
Yeah, I mean, this is too risky now. Plus, there's gonna, or is this like flying after a plane crash? Maybe this is the
Right.
best time to cheat.
No, I think everybody's gonna be looking for it
Yeah.
now, like because they want to be in the video that goes viral of catching the guy. People get off on that, like this
Fish
would be,
star, fish star.
that
That one guy
this
at the
is-
beginning that's like, yeah, yeah.
By
He's
the way,
like literally yelling louder than his kid's graduation or when his daughter was born.
This is where me and Ross are on the opposite end of the spectrum because I can't even watch this video. I record
makes
like
you uncomfortable,
if
I
if I was there and if I was
just
like
leave.
I would just slowly walk back, get in my truck, even if it wasn't me, I
If
don't
you were
even-
just there, they
it's
brought
too-
your kids there, you're drinking a coffee, you would have walked away.
it's too awkward to be them screaming at the guy like, what do you have to say? And but Ross on the other side,
Ross
you
should be
love it.
yelling at the guy,
You
right?
know, Ross
It's
would
always
be-
when someone says, "What do you have to say?" No one ever has anything to say for themselves. So
No,
just
no.
stop asking them. They're not going to say it.
yeah.
I was fascinated by how this guy was emceeing the fishing tournament because it was like, I don't know, it was an hour of a weigh-in, and this guy just was going the whole time. It was pretty amazing.
It's like the guys that do, and we're going to talk to Jetson. It's like the guys that do all of the Iron Man, the announcers for Iron Man.
Yeah.
They're so good at it, although he did mess up Jetson's last name. But
Well,
like
they
they're
gotta
so
read
good
so
at it,
many.
they riff and they got to like say like 1,000 people's
They gotta
names.
keep going,
and they're
yeah.
really, really
Yeah,
good at it.
Yeah.
And those are some of the hardest things too. I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure there's one. This fishing tournament guy. He's also does AM sports locally. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's one
It's like his
broadcaster.
favorite thing. He's really into it.
Yeah, he started this kind of like Sofa and Suds, and we'll
Yeah.
be doing that 20 years from now. We'll be the old men doing Sofa and
I
Suds.
wish people would cheat on Sofa and Suds. Let's get some lead weights.
So
People have definitely questioned whether or not people have cheated.
I want
in
some
Sofa. They get
scandal.
very competitive too.
I feel like we need to make this year let's make it super modified. Let's just make them, like, anything
put a motor
goes.
on that thing.
Yeah, just anything goes because it's gonna be. I'm just throwing it out there a little boring.
So,
A little
Chris,
boring.
when's your next fishing tournament?
I actually don't have much planned for the rest of the year, kind of taking it easy, building up YouTube. Next year, I am actually going to be doing some pretty higher up tournaments. But one thing I wanted to ask is I think it was Dustin when he was in last time mentioned that they're doing a tournament in Sanford in like January, I think.
Yeah.
How about I am the official Tom and Dan boat for the tournament?
I like that
we
idea.
can do that.
Yeah, we need a boat in the
What
tournament.
does that cost us? What is that?
One Tom and Dan flag.
yeah, no, you know,
Well, yeah, Tom and Dan flag would be cool, but it's a free tournament, and I believe, if I remember correctly, what Dustin said, and it's for Yellow Brick Road, so I would be more than happy just to represent you guys. I don't
cool,
want anything.
man.
It's for the kids.
Oh, that's
So-
the tournament to cheat in. They're not
Yeah,
gonna
that
be
is
looking
the one to
at you
cheat
right
on.
there.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
if there
get
was
hooked.
one to cheat, it's the
Free
one that
for
helps
charity.
the kids.
Yeah.
Chris, last question: does all this water like help or hurt fishing?
Fish hate water, dude.
No,
They are so
no,
tough.
I'm saying with the overflooded lakes, like now it changes the
Yeah.
topography of the lake, but does
And
this,
Probably
chemical
dangerous.
composition.
I bet it's
Yeah, yeah.
dangerous
Yeah.
to fish.
with all the drain water, like does this like?
And again, just raw feces.
yeah, the
Yep.
fees and the poop. How does this what does this do for fishing?
It's bad. I mean, I think, Dan, you shared Brendan O'Connor's story about the sewage plants overflowing. All that water has to go somewhere. So those are going in your local lakes and ponds. Lake Toho right now is real bad. Apparently, the flooding there pushed a lot of sewage runoff into the lake. So you're going to have it's going to be problems for a few months now before all these fisheries kind of get back to normal in that area.
I feel like fish would like doo-doo, though.
Yeah, I feel like-
if you pour doo-doo in
Yeah.
a lake, I feel like fish would eat it.
I'm-
They'll eat anything,
I
right?
am confident that if you put a fish in my toilet in the morning, that he's gonna chomp his face off. He's a lot to eat there.
But I guess with that
They're
comes
also breathing it, though.
all
It's going
the
in through
chemicals.
the gills.
Yeah. All
Well,
the chemicals.
You know,
yeah.
they maybe stop smoking.
And then,
I don't know
so
what that means.
is this basically going to affect fishing for the next couple months? When does it? Because I know like St. John's River continues to rise as all the floodwater, makes its way into the ocean. So, like, how long are we looking at before things get relatively back to normal?
I would say just with the water being high, about a month or so, it should start. The water table should be getting back to normal. But as far as some of the other stuff that's been introduced into the lakes, I mean, that's hard to tell. I mean, it could be the 6 months, it could be a year, it could be even shorter than that. I'm praying it's shorter than that, but it's not looking good right now.
Yeah, it's all these other ancillary things that you don't think about. That everything is a chain reaction affects everything, right?
Everything's
Yep.
bigger than we think.
Well, Chris, thanks for talking to us today. It's a fascinating story about this cheating. It's weird, like fish tournaments and chess.
I just
the
didn't
two
think-
the hottest cheating scandals going on right
Well,
now.
I
Stuff
think-
getting stuffed
There
in
was a
both
poker
ways.
cheating
Yeah.
scandal this weekend, too.
Yeah, there was a poker one this weekend too.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
What-
I was like actually gearing up for one of your favorite things to talk about is cheating, and I'm like, dude, I have always said, like you and I've argued, Tom and I've argued, and I've always said people cheat less than we think, and I think you're right. I think they cheat more. I think I'm way wrong.
But I don't understand. Chris, we'll talk to you soon because I want to talk about this poker tournament that Daniel did send me this video. Speaking of cheating, there was a poker tournament, the huge cash prize.
Yeah.
And I think it was it the final table?
I didn't. I'm gonna have to look it up, Sam. If you can find it,
Yeah,
I don't want
I'm
to get it
trying read into
wrong.
it now.
So what the weird part, I don't understand why they turned to river cards because I watched the video.
Was everybody flopped?
No, but they actually in the video, and I only watched it one time, so I may be mistaken. But they turned a river card, and then they turned another river card. But regardless, basically, how just to make a long story short, a guy went all in, basically against his opponent, which is this girl, and she called him with nothing. And so we you know, in these televised poker tournaments, you see what the players have. So the announcer was like talking about it, and then when
it was all, you could see it all there.
And in the position they were in, you know, he was bluffing. He was on a inside straight draw and a flush, right? So he had a higher percentage chance of getting either one of the inside straight draw or a flush. She just had, I believe, like a jack 4 or something. She had nothing, right? So then when in his position, he eventually just went all in, and with nothing, she called. And then they flopped their cards over, and then she ended up winning the pot,
Right.
and of just jack high, right? So he didn't get his flush or his inside straight draw, and she actually won the pot. But he was like, why did you call? Even if you thought I had
Because
nothing.
I was playing poker.
True, well, that's what she said.
Yeah.
But her explanation was bizarre, and that's where the cheating scandal
So
comes
they agreed to play the river twice, but it brought nothing to either side, and Lou won the
What?
full $269,000 pot with jack high. It sparked commotion at the table, with Aldstein saying, "I don't understand what's happening right now." After a brief exchange, Aldstein gave Lou what she called a death stare.
I never heard agreed to do the river twice.
I've never heard
Yeah.
I
that.
don't
Yeah.
even know what that means.
Well, the last card in
It's like a playover.
in
I've
Texas
never even, I
Hold'em.
didn't even think you could do that.
I didn't understand why that happened. That's what I was like.
That's
What is
weird.
that? I've never seen that.
I was like, you struck him out. Give him another pitch. Though.
I've never seen the river twice. And
Okay, I've got the breakdown here if you want me to walk you through it.
yeah.
Okay, so Garrett Aldenstein, who is considered one of the best high-stakes cash game players in the world, has claimed that he was clearly cheated by his opponent, Robbie Jade Liu, after she went all in on an underwhelming hand. During the televised high-stake game at the Hustler Casino, Aldenstein had 7 and 8 of clubs, while Liu played wider with Jack of clubs and 4 of hearts. After the flop revealed the 10 of hearts, 10 of clubs, and 9 of clubs, Aldenstein bet high given his chances of a straight, a flush, or even a straight flush on the river. But Liu stunned her opponents and the commentators when she called the bet, growing the pot to $269,000. Another opponent at the table laughed, saying, "She calls me with a jack high." She calls, the commentator in the live stream asked, and with complete surprise. What is going on here? Is it possible her hand might be misread? Is in the card graphics?
Yeah, the commentator literally thought that
He even questioned it.
Are we looking at the wrong cards?
Yeah, we look at the wrong cards.
Like, why would you do this?
So
What's the cheat, though?
So then no one knows, and the problem is
It was just
that-
such an outlandish play. He's assuming.
It's
Yeah,
Jim-
yeah.
Jimmy,
Okay.
Jimmy used to say this to me all the time when I would go and play a cash game at Jimmy, because I don't know poker like he does. Sometimes I'd look at my hand, I'd be, I want to get out of here. I'd go all in. Why are you doing that? Nobody would do that. You're not. There's a way to play it.
And regardless from that, these
But it's
people
not against the rules.
No,
it isn't.
Certainly is not.
But these people aren't amateurs,
No,
and
this
that's
is the
where
top tier.
that's where
I mean,
everybody's
sounds
talking.
like she outsmarted him.
Not really. She
won.
She played. She did win, but she
and
did.
she didn't do anything against the rules.
She didn't. But that's
so what
why.
the hell are we talking about here? This isn't cheating.
Well, because
That's how an amateur person would answer a person who plays poker all the time about a poker person seemingly not winning against a person who didn't know what they had and went all in.
yeah, like
Is it just like it's not against the rules, but it's kind of just frowned upon? Like
it's not even it's not
not
even
really
frowned
frowned
upon.
upon.
It's
It's just-
why
I am missing it.
It's
all.
more of like, why would you do it? Because
it would be
why-
a guaranteed loss.
Right.
Basically, it would be
She took a chance.
She lost on purpose, although she didn't have anything, so there was really no chance. All she was maybe hoping for is a jack on the river, but you would never.
It's
People
like a
that know how to
guy-
play poker would never go all in hoping to catch a jack on the river because their chances are so small, especially when someone else put them all in. That person obviously either totally bluffing or has a higher chance than you, or even has something that beat you currently.
Like in a baseball game, Sam, if the guy in left field just like laid down and
Yeah.
stretched out and just put his arms like out on the ground, and the guy at bat hit a ball right into his glove,
yeah.
he's caught the ball.
Correct.
He's made the out. He did nothing illegal. It looks weird though.
Yeah,
It looks really
Everybody's
weird.
like, how did that happen? Yeah. No, you know what?
And so
I approve that 100%.
Sounds like
So-
she just got really lucky.
It did. No, she did
She
get
did.
lucky.
She did.
And although
I love the story because Hustler Casino is investigating it, and they're saying, "Yo, other than just this guy getting mad, we can't say that she did anything
Right.
wrong." I mean,
And so the guy is
I wanna be
claiming
investigated
that
by Hustler.
she
I know.
that she somehow knew his cards in some way, that she was tipped off or knew what kind of cards he has, because in that
this is obviously before the fish scandal because they even say this latest scandal comes as investigators look into an incident during a chess tournament. Everybody's
Now,
freaking
If she
out.
knew his cards, she'd be less likely.
That's what I was
She-
thinking.
No, not necessarily, because at that time he didn't have anything. So if she knew his cards, she had a jack high, so she knows. All right, then there's a chance of a club hitting the board or one of the numbers or cards that make him a straight. Right, more than her chance of having a jack. But I think at that point in time, she had the best hand. So the correct call, if she knew his cards, were to call them all in. So technically, if she knew his cards, she did make the correct call, because she at that point did have the highest hand. So it was just up to the river.
Then that's probably why he's saying she cheated because he's probably like, she's got to know my cards.
Now, here's the weird thing, the same thing with the chess tournament thing, too. There is a feed, and there are people and producers that do see this live
People on
feed.
the
So,
inside, yes.
so they know the cards. So if somehow she has someone inside the production team that is tipping off someone live at the actual, because there's an audience, that is somehow giving her, because you have a lot of time. She put in a time chip and stuff. That's another thing, too.
I'm assuming it's vibrator based at this time. Point.
Yeah, or vibrator based, like
Yeah.
the chess thing. And if someone's saying like, "Hey, two vibrates," and you call,
Yeah.
then she's just calling. So it could be like that, especially with televised tournaments. It's impossible to take that element away, right?
You know what's interesting?
It's super fascinating.
What makes this a little different than just cheating scandal and it just spiraled out of control? I don't think it spiraled out of control the day it happened. He issued an actual statement, and I think this is what made it a big deal.
Yeah.
Within the poker world, they're both a big deal, and he issued a full-blown statement from him saying, it's too lengthy to read, but he says he has been, quote, clearly cheated without providing evidence of any wrongdoing. He went on to speculate that Lou might have been wearing a vibrating device that was used to signal her, but he said that it was impossible to know. Then she said she denies everything and says, hey, if you want to go head-to-head for a rematch after I'm vindicated, let's go heads up. The whole world can watch me read you all day long. Like,
Oh, yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Okay, so she's saying she could tell by his face. She's saying she had some kind of tell on him where
Yeah, yeah.
She's just
she
saying,
knew.
I knew you didn't have nothing.
She's saying I knew your cards, but not by like seeing them
Correct.
or like a vibrator. I'm that good that I can look at you and tell
Yeah.
what you have.
Which is the best answer she has
Yeah.
right now.
Of course, because
Yeah.
it's impossible to tell that, but
You got to ride that to the
and
grave.
it
If you
also
watch-
fits the evidence.
if you watch the video, though, she says some bizarre things, because he was like, why did you call the first bet or whatever? And she's like, oh, and she said she like misspoke a little bit, and it was weird because there was no technical explanation that she could say except for I read you. And this guy's played a million hours of cards. Like there's no reading people's faces anymore in poker. It just doesn't happen. It's like your betting patterns and how you play, like it's gotten such down to like a specific analytic science to it that that's
could be
all.
something as easy as like he taps his finger or
No.
like so he could have a tell, Tom. He could very easily have a tell.
That's only in movies. The Oreo with the damn pay this man his money. That doesn't happen. Like no one's eating Oreos and he's like he didn't take the top off. He doesn't have, like it doesn't happen anymore. These
I
guys
forgot
just
about
happen.
that.
I'm just saying that's all I think movie BS. It's interesting
It
though.
is- I love the cheating stories.
Because now, especially with chess and poker and stuff, like you can't, they're live filming it, so that invites the element of cheating. With the live filming, there's always some way
Yeah,
now to
there's
cheat.
leaks now.
Because now
Yeah,
you can
there's
have
leaks.
other people telling you in some way, whether vibrating butt plug
And
or
there's a
whatever.
delay, yeah.
That's how it happens. Like
But
that's how they're doing.
We also
chess.
live in a day and age where you could devote yourself to something so fully that you can excel at it to a point where you almost seem superhuman at it. And from like
That's true.
anything, from like cards to running to fishing, for God's sake, you could be so much better at it than everybody else that you almost seem like you're cheating just doing what you do.
Yes, but I feel like there's some of that, but you can't beat math at the end of the day. And if you're statistically winning more than you should,
I beat math. I don't use it ever.
well, it's probably if it's straight up against your chances that math say, then that's when everybody is like, wait a minute, why? Like, what's going
Yeah.
on here? This is against math, and we know math is a fact.
Yeah.
So how is this person doing it? Most likely is nefarious, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what you would say. I mean, she has no other answer other than I just.
And of
thought
course
he
she's
didn't
gonna
have
say, "Play
anything."
me heads
Yeah.
up," because even if she loses, all like
Right. Wouldn't matter.
A lot of the heads up is is
Listen,
luck.
you're a grown man playing poker and you got beat by a lady and your butt's hurt, and that's
Yeah.
fine. But if you don't have any proof, you can't say she's cheating.
True.
If you have some proof, if you have a statement, if you have a witness, say it. That's great.
I've
But if
always-
you're just guessing, shut the hell up and move on to the next tournament.
I gotta agree with you. I've always thought it's a really bad look, to, especially a release, and that's kind of where I was going with.
can't lose. You must be cheating.
That's
You're a
kinda-
baby. Get outta
That's
here.
kind of where I was going with the official statement thing too, because it's like it's a bad look to,
Yeah.
to present an official statement because people are like, okay, I came here for the official
With no
statement.
proof.
What do you have to say? And he's like, she cheated, and they're like, okay, well, what happened? None. I got nothing. Like, then you have no official statement.
right.
But it's like the chess guy, like that. He's like, wait a minute.
But he's been busted before. That one's
That guy
different.
admitted to cheating.
The only moves, the only reason you make these moves is a computer was telling you, right?
Right.
And like the only reason you make this call is if
if
you
a-
were tipped off about my cards. And that's, I can see his point.
Yeah.
Like you're playing unlike any pro here,
Right.
because without playing like a pro, you
At the
cannot win.
He
biggest hand.
took his money too. He took his money and left. The money that she won.
See, I wouldn't have done that either. That's
Yeah.
a bad look. Even if you thought she cheated, you can't do that. I don't think you can do that.
Well,
if you don't have any proof, you can't.
I don't know how you do it
That's
within
ridiculous.
within the rules of the tournament. It's like
That's insane.
So I'm sure they'll.
Yeah,
It's
they'll
a,
get to the bottom of it.
It's
for
at
sure.
least drama in something that normally doesn't have drama. I like
She's a
it.
good-looking lady too. Like, so the whole story, like he's got. I mean, they're great-looking people for this particular story because he looks like Italian. Like, hey, you cheating, and she's got like the big fake boobs, and she's
Yeah,
hot.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and you're like, it's great. It's awesome. You know, and same thing with these fishing guys. They look awesome
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
story. I'm like, man, you guys are all stereotyped out.
I thought it was weird that fisherman had big fake boobs. But, whatever you do.
It brings
Lead weights.
attention to the
She said her
sport
call
and-
was based on past experiences with Adelstein, hinting that she's aware of his poker ranges and were wide, and that Jack High might have been the right call regardless. So she's played with this guy a lot. She knows how he plays.
And that's the best answer she can give. What a
Yeah.
great answer if you did cheat, though. I know. I know.
First,
but it's-
I know poker, and that just it
I
doesn't.
know. You're
make
saying
sense,
exactly what Jimmy would say.
Yeah, yeah.
Like people that know hands have a real problem if you don't adhere to the hands, because at that point you are flying in the face of math.
Now,
you are.
do you think you're better at poker than her?
No.
Then why are you arguing with her?
Well, because she's not. Because there is a
But
right
she's
way
saying
to play.
I'm this good at poker and I made this call and you're worse than her at poker and you're saying make the other call. So obviously she's right.
Not necessarily, because just getting lucky doesn't make you a good gambler.
See, Ron, look,
I'm gonna
you gotta.
let's take a break. I'm gonna go have this argument with a brick wall. And I
Yeah,
feel like I
right
do a
here.
lot
You
better.
get lucky.
Well, let me help.
You know what? It's
Maybe I can help.
it's
I've
good to have
never,
Ross
I have
here.
never understood where you say this, and so does Jimmy. And I'll keep bringing up Jimmy because Jimmy would get so mad when I would play poker. I don't know poker as well as Jimmy, and I would go all in or do something.
And we're talking about Dirty Jimmy from Primetime
Dirty Jim
Kitchen,
from
right?
Primetime Kitchen,
okay.
yeah, where I shouldn't make that play, but then I end up winning, and then everybody at the table's mad. I've never understood why poker players get mad about that. They need to have a better answer than well, you
Yeah.
played it wrong. No,
No, well, yeah, but you play the way you play. If you're chasing, you're chasing. As you get lucky,
Right.
you get lucky. It's just in this stakes where you're not
Right, I
playing
understand.
amateur, so it's like it's weird.
I wanted to make my dirty.
It's weird.
is.
I messed up my Dirty Jim joke. Can I take a second swing at that?
Yeah, sure.
We're talking about Primetime Jimmy from Dirty Kitchen.
there you go. I
That's
like that.
that's good.
I like that better.
All right, Mo's Comedy Jam this Thursday. Ross will be there. We're all gonna go out there and
Come on.
You got a ticket?
Yep.
Yeah, we
yeah,
got
we,
yeah,
we bought
we're
tickets a
going.
long time ago.
We got them. Yeah, unless it. I mean, you're not.
You're welcome then. You're welcome to come.
Yeah.
yeah. Now we bought the tickets.
Yeah,
we sprang for the hundo
Yeah.
apiece.
It's a charity
yeah,
event.
yeah.
Buy your damn tickets.
Anyway.
MoComedyJam.com if you don't have yours.
It's Thursday. All right. Well, see you tomorrow.